What's up guys, welcome back to a Laser Goldmaker video, and today we're going to take a look at something that's mostly relevant to TBC Classic. Not just TBC Classic, but right now you can also use this technique in Seasons of Mastery, and it's going to be relevant in Wrath of the Lich King Auction House when we get there. And what we're looking at here is the technique of smart stacking. Now some of this is not going to be completely new. I already covered some of this in my video on flipping in TBC Classic, so you haven't check that out. You can check it out. There's the link in the description. But what we're going to look at today is essentially how you can utilize stack sizing to increase the prices of the items you're selling and just make more gold. So yeah, let's dive in. So what is this idea of smart stacking? Well, the general idea of smart stacking is that on the old auction house, the one that we have in TBC, we had all the way up until BFA. You're only really competing with other people who have posted the same item in the same stack size. So if you take a look at something that I have in my bags, like Illusion Dust, if I were to post this on the auction house right now, probably not a good idea to search with the basic UI, because that's worthless. But we can look with the TSM UI. People are selling these in specific stack sizes. Now, if someone needs a lot of Illusion Dust for whatever reason, maybe they're power leveling enchanting, they're going to want as much as possible, right? If they can save a bunch of clicks by buying a little bit more expensively but getting big stack sizes, they might do it. So if I'm posting right now, I'd probably be posting at least at this price point, which is where the cheapest stack of 20 is. And I'd probably even go up here because there's only one stack of 20. Because you're only directly competing with people selling in the exact same stack size. This is something that's been a very common technique back in the day. People want to save time by buying the exact amount they need. So, and if they need a lot, then they want to buy the largest stack possible because they might need more than one stack. Now there's also the case that they might pay a little bit more per item, but might end up paying less overall if they can get the exact stack size they need. So if you just need 6 items, for instance, based on this auction as well, this is a bad example. If you just needed 8 items here, or 10 items, and you could buy this is the cheapest, but you'd end up with 4 extra Illusion Dust. So it would probably be a little bit cheaper, or you'd spend a little bit less total gold if you bought these. Maybe not exactly right now, and I didn't do the math, but you can often have situations where even paying 10-20% extra per item is going to leave you with spending less gold because you don't have to buy as many. And while you and me, or someone who's interested in the economy, might realize that they could sell the extra items back, that's a hassle that they might not want to deal with. And people in general are willing to pay more if they can get the exact stack size they need. This has been consistent. This is played out in Classic, in actual vanilla, in TBC, in Wrath, in Cataclysm, blah, all the way up. I did this in Legion. I did this in BFA, all the way up until the day that they revamped the auction house in Retail WoW. So this is just incredible. It works for anything that can be sold in a stack. Not just materials, anything that can be sold in a stack. This can be applied to, and it's very, very, very useful. So what you want to know then is what are the stack sizes that people are likely to buy an item in. And for materials, this is pretty simple to figure out because you can just look up on Wowhead or anywhere else what recipes a given item is used in. So if we have an example here with the Essence of Air, it's used in some enchants where you need 2 or 4. It's used in some other enchants where you need 4. It's used in some other crafted recipes. This is just a random example of an item. But you can look this up and figure it out. And then you'd sell these specific stack sizes because these are likely to be the best one. Of course, this is probably not the best example because this is a vanilla item. But you can look up any TBC item as well, Primal Air. And you can see then, okay, well, let's look at the reagent tab here. There's a huge amount of recipes, of course. There's a good number here, some very good crafted recipes that require 10. That's the largest stack size, so probably you want to sell these in stacks of 10. Then you see there's some crafts that need 15, 8, Well, these are the type of stacks you should sell these in. You should, if you have a lot of these, if you're farming a lot of primal air, for instance, you want to sell some of it in stacks of 10. You want to sell some of it to stacks of 4, 6, and 4, and 8. And then you're targeting everyone who wants to get a specific recipe or is buying this item for one specific recipe. Then they can, with one click, buy the exact amount they need, or with 2 clicks, maybe 2 stacks of 4 to get to 8, for instance, and you'll make it there. Another example is adamantite ore, which is primarily used to prospect, which means that people want to buy these in stacks of 5 at least. And they probably, realistically, they probably just want to buy stacks of 20 and get as much as they can, because you generally need a ton of these if you want to prospect anything meaningful. Another example that's interesting is the Sun Fury Signet and the other turn-in, the Alder, the Mark of Sergeras. You can turn these in 10 at a time. So in general, you'll want to sell these in multiples of 10. You can sell them, they can stack all the way up to 200, I believe, 250 even. So you can sell these in stacks of 10, 20, 50, 100 if you have large quantities of these. And then you'll be targeting people who have a wide variety of rep needs. And look at this, are you going to buy like 20 stacks of 2, or are you just going to pay a little bit more and click once instead of clicking 20 times and collecting 20 mails? Time is valuable for a lot of people. Or maybe they'll even go further if they need a lot, or they're planning to buy a lot of rep. You can probably be up in this range very easily in making sales. Yeah, just figure out how much are people going to want this item, how many are they going to want at a time, and then target those stack sizes. Now, we have another group of items that I've applied this same strategy to very successfully, and that's consumables. Now, generally speaking, what I used throughout all of the expansions where I did alchemy, I actually stopped doing alchemy once you couldn't do stack sizing anymore because it was just too competitive. But what I've always done is that I've sold these items in every possible stack size. So flasks, I don't know if the TBC flasks stack to 5 because I don't do much TBC stuff, but classic flasks and classic elixir stack to 5. I would sell these in every possible stack size between 1 and 5. So I would sell them in stacks of 1, stacks of 2, stacks of 3, stacks of 4, and stacks of 5. And the logic is simply to maximize the chance that I am the only one with a particular stack size and someone wants to buy just that amount. Maybe they need just 2 elixirs for tonight raid and they don't have that much gold. So they're just going to buy my stack of 2 and be done with it. Or 2 flasks for tonight's raid. And as you can see on this realm right here, I would probably be making bank. I could probably be selling my flasks for like 35, 36 gold. In stacks of 4, stacks of 3, stacks of 2, and I'd be getting some sales. I wouldn't be getting all the sales, of course, because there's not that much difference between clicking twice and clicking 4 times. But this has worked very consistently for me across a bunch of different expansions. It worked in Classic, it worked in Legion, it worked in BFA until it didn't because they revamped the auction house. It's just a time-tested approach, as we'll see. So here we have my my alchemy sales from Classic. And most of the time, if I would open up my profession window with alchemy and Classic, most of these would show that they were not profitable. They would show like 10 silver profit, 10 silver loss, most of these recipes. But I would consistently make 20-30% profit and get a huge amount of sales just by posting in a lot of weird different stack sizes. And you can see this like here, the same day, a huge number of posts. I did not do any cancel scanning. I literally just posted across a wide variety of stack sizes. So this day, there weren't that many Elixir of the Mongoose in stacks of 3, so someone bought my stack of 3. And they bought my stack of 4 and 5 for whatever reason. And well, the list goes on and on and on. As you can see, I made a total of 87,000 gold with this throughout Classic in sales, so it worked. There's just no question. You can see sales across all the different stack sizes: stacks of 1, stacks of 2, stacks of 3, stacks of 4, stacks of 5. So this is battle tested. It works. And you should be applying this to your own setups if you're in these markets. Now, if you're already using my TSM setup, then you already have this set up. If not, I thought I'd show you how you set this up. So to do this, you need a bunch of different operations. So we can jump over to my alchemy group here, and you can see that I have a huge amount of operations here, and I've named these fairly logically or fairly understandably. And the reason we have so many is because first I want to post one of each stack size that I do to make sure that I have all of the stack sizes covered. So if I only have if I only have 14, then it'll post one stack of 5, one stack of 4, one stack of 3, and one stack of 2. If I have more, then it'll start filling out the rest, focusing on the larger stack sizes first, because larger stack sizes are generally the best ones. Generally, not necessarily for consumables. For them, you might want to prioritize some of these middle ones if those are the ones you see most of your sales coming through in. But this is the general approach, and then you set these settings in your operation. It's these two settings: post cap, this is the number of auctions, and stack size, this is the stack size for each auction. So this is going to post one auction with 5 items in that stack. And then obviously if we go down to my crafting 4x5, this one actually, it says 4x5, but it posts 5. 4x4, this one posts 4 stacks of 4, etc. You can set your stack sizes to anything you prefer. This does have to be tailored a little bit to the item, obviously, because different items have different max stack sizes. So if you're trying to post something in a stack of 20 that doesn't stack to 20, well, obviously nothing's going to happen. You can apply an operation like that, but it's just not gonna post. So here you can see what I've been doing for cloth, for instance, posting 2 stacks of 10, 2 stacks of 20, some stacks of 5, and then more stacks of 20. The exact quantities you're using and which stack size you're prioritizing is something you'll have to figure out for yourself, and you can do that by looking at the ledger. You go to your revenue, and you can filter by searching for a specific item. So maybe I wanted to figure out what the best one was for Elixir of Mongoose. I could search for this, and then we could start sorting by stack size, and I could try to guesstimate, okay, I seem to get, it was a lot more scrolling on the 4s than on a lot of the others, so maybe I should prioritize stacks of 4 more and post slightly more of those. And that's something you can try to figure out. You can of course manually count the lines, that's going to take a while. You can also export this data from the TSM web app and analyze this in the spreadsheet if you have the know-how. I haven't done that. I think it's easier to just look at this list and guesstimate and see what it looks like you're getting the most sales of, and then prioritize based on that. So I learned here that maybe I get more stacks of 4 than anything else, which would mean that I should probably go to my alchemy group. I don't have a specific group for that, but maybe I want to increase my stacks of 4 operation. I want to post 6 stacks of 4 for this group, and then I also, in addition, I want to increase the priority of stacks of 4. So we're going to move this up the priority list. So if we don't have enough, we'd rather post stacks of 4 than stacks of 5, for instance. You can just drag and drop them, and it'll start from the top and then go down the list. So yeah, that's it. This is an incredibly well-working strategy. It does increase your average profit margin for these items. Now, it does come at a little bit of a cost. You're going to see slower sales, obviously, because you have a higher price. But you might be able to make a profit on items that you wouldn't otherwise make a profit on. And you're not competing directly with the people who are cheapest, which means that you can get away without cancel scanning. You can just go post and then go offline. And that's fine. You'll still get a good amount of sales, which is why I like it so much, because then I don't have to sit at the auction house all day, and I can just go relax on the beach with a pina colada or do whatever the lazy gold makers do when we're off the clock. So yeah, hopefully you learned something and you can take this out into the world of TBC, into Wrath, into Classic, make a bunch more gold, and we'll see you on the next video. Make sure you leave a like or a comment if you learned something. If there's something you didn't enjoy or think that I misrepresented, then let me know as well. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a profitable week. Goodbye, guys.